Okay, thank you so much for having me here in this great event and great organization. My name is Ramy AlDamati. I'm a senior principal cybersecurity consultant in Kaspersky Lab, Middle East. I'm handling multiple international projects with the CERTs and governments in order to deliver very high-end cybersecurity practices and engagement with our customers. And in the blockchain domain, I'm being worked with a lot of international organizations to help to build some regulations and some curriculums training for awareness, raising awareness for some people in different countries and participate in multiple associations over the multiple area. So mainly the main topics today will speak about the cybersecurity part in the blockchain domain and innovations. So mainly you can see how it will be the world or how it's already there in 2018 and the futures. You can see a lot of innovations coming in the last few years. One of them is the blockchain. And every day we see and read and hear about this technology, about this innovations is coming to the market, it's been implementing, especially here in Dubai and the regions in different area. And the integrations of this blockchain and the impact that they will do it with the government, with financial, with other sectors and area. And you can see the futures of the business is coming very fast and very rapidly to be integrated and be more innovated and be more intelligible and actionable for from different part of angles and different part of industries, starting from multiple of trends. We already see it in 2018 mainly, because I can see from late 2017, 18, and the coming futures of the coming years, you can see a lot of trends start, a lot of people speaking on it, governments, entities, even the events, every events we participate on it, we see a talk about this type of technology. Big data, how it will make and create a good impact for the technology, for the people life, for the innovations, and the AI also, and integration the big data with the AI, how they can utilize this type of information that came from the big data and utilize it with the mindset of the AI, robotics and intelligence. 5G, definitely if you want to run a lot of huge data infrastructures over the internet, you need a very huge speed connectivity that will be part of the 5G innovations. Blockchain and edge computing also is a very important topic that also has been trendy in the region to show, and we will show today some information about these type of innovations and technologies. So the main driver of the digital transformation in any government, you can see it is Internet of Things, connecting the people, the robotics, process automations, and the cloud technology, definitely, and the artificial intelligence, and finally is the blockchain. So all of these drivers will help and expedite and speed up the digital transformation in any country or any government or any organization that they want to make the life easy to their people, utilizing the services, helping them in some services they deliver it to them or they need it from them. So the collaboration between all of these drivers, definitely it will help too much to enhance the demand of the quality of service and assures that all of these type of, let's say, practices or satisfactions of the customers to be delivered in a manner ways. So the questions for everyone, so what is the blockchains? Maybe people, they know about the blockchain in general information, they might know it in specific terms. Some people, they link it with some other technologies like bitcoins. So mainly blockchains in very simple terms, you can see there are three main pillars inside blockchains. Peer-to-peer networks, which is connecting multiple entities peer-to-peer directly all together. the public key cryptography part, which is securing the transactions and making it secure, because in blockchain technology, definitely you are removing the man in the middle, or the people who's caring about regulations in the transactions and let's say spending or delivering the services. So you need a part of securing the transaction between both of them, and the proof of work, which is making sure that the service being delivered and avoid any double spending for a specific service multiple times at the same time. But in the blockchain domain, still there is some myth and facts not being recognized by the people. They always mixed and mention that blockchain is Bitcoin or Bitcoin is blockchain. And this is a misunderstanding. They're just focusing on Bitcoin because the most famous use case or implementation of blockchain is the Bitcoin, definitely. So mainly Bitcoin is a type of a cryptocurrency that been built on the blockchain technology. And people, they start using it in different way and adapting it, maybe integrated with their systems and with their needs. Also, another definition is that the blockchain is the enterprise database. Everyone can put information inside this database and start building it. This is totally is not correct. It's not enterprise database. It is not centralized because blockchain technology built on a decentralized concept that the database will be synced and replicated across all of the internet in different area and different places. And the security that it is more secured, more privacy in the blockchain. But the important part that everyone can see all the transactions that going from where to where. It is publicly there announced, and everyone can track it and can see it if you know the information about the public key and the private key, and you can define it. And it is not always public, definitely, because public blockchain is something common use for the technology when it came to to everyone. But mainly there is a private blockchain. It needs to be built within the regulations of the government, regulations of the banks or the financial parts, which is there is a lot of use cases being built based on this type of non-public blockchain approach. So, as a summary of the blockchain technology and what is it? It's mainly like it is near real-time integrations and let's say process and transactions between two parties or more. It will be because in real days or in the current system, when you want to send money from X country to Y country, you need a specific authority. You send the money to them, and this authority makes sure that the other party receive the money in a specific time with a specific regulations and specific area or timing manners. But in blockchain, this something is happening peer to peer. From point to point, it goes directly to the other parties without any man in the middle or organization in the middle. And it is trustless environment, distributed ledgers that anyone can trust it because it is secured. When I send or create a transactions, no one can be intercepted and change any details from these transactions types, like the man in the middle attacks mechanisms. When it's come the picture, when I send data to the third party and this being intercepted by attackers and they change parameters or steal some information from these parameters, they change the facts of the transaction itself. But in the blockchains, no one can do the change unless all the network of the blockchain accept these transactions and do it. So reversibility of the functionality for the blockchain, definitely once the transaction's done, it cannot be reversed. Once the code being written is there, if it is, it need to be 100% correct, especially when you're coding something and before you put it in the blockchain network, because it is non-changeable. No one can change it unless you want to do some extra efforts or extra change, which is not doable for this current technology. And the resistance of the let's say, to be inactively or to be, let's say, reducing the possibility of external influences of modifying previous records itself, which is the same of reversibility of the blockchain itself. So this is the main functionality of blockchain. You can see that everyone need to agree on the transactions once you put it inside the blockchain. So one block need to be inserted to the network. All the network of blockchain or all the blocks inside the blockchain need to be approved and make it 100% correct. Then it will be approved inside. Grouping of the chain, immutability, which is unchangeable of any record, will be theirs, and unforgettable and different type of it. So there is a lot of good functionality. Blockchain come and have it as a complete information or complete features to solve previous problems from the existing systems that people depend on centralized systems or centralized database or centralized information. And the reason of selecting blockchain for your business, definitely, why we need the blockchain, definitely to reduce the cost of the removing whatever the transactions fees, the timing, reducing and increase the speed for the transaction. I want to immediately send a transaction from one government to one government through some financial transaction. I don't want to wait some days or some hours. So this record will be inherited and sent it to my accounting systems or my financial part. It needs to be done immediately and within a seconds. And the security, reducing the frauds. Blockchain can eliminate the frauds in a high level way because the fraud is something people like attackers, they can just manipulate the facts, manipulate the information being inserted to the data, or stealing your personal identity and they use it on your behalf. This something is cannot be done. And reducing the risk by having a non-single point of failures, because centralized systems, definitely if it is down, everything will be down. Definitely you need something to be avoided from the single point of failures. And there is a lot of use cases of non-financial distributed ledgers of the blockchain. It can be used in multiple areas because the main definition of blockchain that it is always for the financial, it's always for the government or something. It need to be do some transaction between these or enhance the services this, but it is beyond of this. It can be used in healthcare, insurance, digital identity and compliances, every part of the country, the services, any services, it can be used the same blockchain, either private or public blockchain, or come in multiple area. Now, the most important part is the cybersecurity or what is the meaning of blockchain to the IT and the cybersecurity. So mainly the main important part for any organization is the database security. If I secure my database, so I'm securing my customer information, my details, the transactions, whatever is inside my centralized database for me. So they still have a lot of problem and weaknesses for the centralized database, which is the infrastructures. I need to build a complete infrastructure, complicated, invest a lot in more technology to secure it, and more technologies increase the capacity and so on. This is also a cost. Also, another security efforts need to be done on this database, and scalability is a little bit also complicated for ourselves. And the corruption. Sometimes you do a backup for database, and once it is maybe being damaged or something, and I want to retain back the database, it will be corrupted, so I don't have another database for myself. The accessibility of database, today we have Oracle, we have Excel, we have different type of format of the database, and they are not working compatible all together at the same time. So how we can do integration between these different type of database? This is the 7 biggest problems in the existing database for that time. So the transactions, how it is already done in blockchain. Once you request specific transactions to be sent X amount to from X to Y person. First of all, it will go to all the block inside the network, and it will request the authority to come and sit inside these the chain of transactions. Then, once it's approved by everyone from the blockchain itself, it will create the block and insert it within the blockchain infrastructures and create the transaction, confirm it as completed transactions. So if one of the of a specific part from the blockchain not approve it, definitely all the transaction will be rejected at the same time. So this is the important part of making it decentralized, that everyone need to approve it, so it will be synced to everyone. Now, if any type of this part of this block being broken, it will rebuild themselves based on the database that they have it from the other blocks itself to complete specific transactions. And this is why the 4 reasons of blockchain technology is important for the data security: is cost saving. It's hard to hack because of the transactions and the verifications of each transaction before being inserted inside the database, the automations of the smart contracts creations, and there is no point of failures. So again, as any point is being failed, it will be recovered from the other part of the chain itself. Hashing is also an important part in securing the data. So if you want to do a transactions and make sure that the same transactions being reached to the other part, definitely you need to make the algorithm to run on the hashing part, that the transaction I send it is the same what they receive it, and there is no manipulation in the middle, there is no man-in-the-middle attacks they created, and even in the complete tree of transactions, whatever is gone and back, it will reach to the same destination with the same information, accurate without any type of information, which is the core of the blockchain technology mechanism itself. And the cybersecurity part, which is that it can prevent the most important section, which is the fraud, accessing the frauds to the data, manipulating the online transactions or some e-commerce data, or even stealing some customer information from like spear phishing attacks or whatever the mechanism they are using it to fraud the people, and they steal their identity and they use it somewhere else. So they need to make sure if this data within the blockchain technology, it need to be confirmed by the private and the public key at the same time. Also, the blockchain can stop a lot of attacks, and the same times a type of attacks like the most important part is the frauds, man-in-the-middles, and the other part. And it is not easy to tamper the data or change any type of data inside the blockchains. So you can see the layer of security starting from the transactions, from the accounts, programming, distributed organizations, and the network and the governance itself. So every layer from this part of the blockchains, it need to have a specific let's say specific mechanism. Let's take an example for the account. You own the account, you have the transactions in your mobile, it's not on the server, not centralized in the server. So you want to secure your mobile, you want to increase the level of accessing to your account, to your confidential information. And the governance part also is the regulations, is the decision making to be defined, who will be the implementer, who will be defining this information, especially in the private part of the blockchain part. So, as a summary, we can see the main important part from this structure, that you can see the attackers mainly attacking the element who using the blockchain, not the blockchain itself. So you can see in this corner, here they are attacking the application that been built to intercept or insert the transaction inside the blockchain, or they are hacking make some vulnerabilities in the smart contract by the third party. This is a new technology. No one have the experience, or we don't have a lot of experienced people to develop this type of technology in-house. So we ask for help from third-party people to come and develop some of this integration for us. And we don't know what type of source code they are generating, what type of vulnerabilities they put it in the smart contract that being inserted within the blockchain, because once it is inserted, it cannot be changed. And you cannot detect it or discover it unless you be in late stages. Or attacking the companies or the stocks or the exchange companies that host the most important asset of the transactions, the money or the let's say the records of the money on our mobile, on our storage servers, because when you do exchange and you do trading, definitely you save the money on the server side of the exchange company, and this is also a big target for the attackers to attack the network. And this company, they do the transaction within the blockchain. So they don't directly touch the blockchain in their attack because it is immutable, cannot be hacks, cannot be frauds, but we can do it in the parties who using this type of technology and the application or the users themselves. And this is why it is important for any organization adapting the blockchain. They need to first of all educate the people about the technology and raise the awareness of the users who are using the blockchain. And part of the blockchain is the investment part in Bitcoin or different initial coin offering or any coins the company is offered for the people to invest on it. And all what we're doing, just send the money to these companies and save the assets on our mobile. So increasing the awareness for the people who are using the blockchain technology, part of the blockchain technology of the applications or the transactions. It is very important, vital for any organization who adopt this technology. And finally, this is why that blockchain, it is important in each system and each business itself. It is secured, permissioned or private, auditable, and all the other functionality that always we keep stressing for about their functionality rather than focusing on how we can use it. Yeah, we can use it in different ways, and this is a functionality, but still we need to make more educations for the people how to use it and how it is important for us and for the future as well. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramy. Any questions? One in the back. One moment, I'll bring you the microphone.
Hi, my name is Alakshay. I'm an IT consultant. My question is, if there are less number of nodes or systems who are part of the blockchain, and if a valid transaction is being sent and more than half of them would deny it or say that it is false, so such kind of security issues, how we can address them? Thank you.
Just to rephrase your questions, that if there is less transactions within the blockchain technology itself, you mean?
Less and less number of systems who are part of the blocks.
Yeah, actually, it is not less than. Actually, blockchain is like a complete network over the internet or even on premise for the private blockchain itself, and it's depend how the transactions and let's say the use case is being built for this part of the application now. Some of the application or use cases not being used too much. Yes, there is less transactions, but it does not mean that it is not secured or it is secured 100%. It need to be considered as different system. Still, you need to secure it. How you will secure it? It is different way. And every use case have its own security checklist, compliance, even regulations need to be done. Like if you put it for the healthcare, it's different of the government, is different of the financial, and everyone have its own implementation and its own details. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Can add? Yeah.
One in the back.
Hi, good evening.
Yes.
Just wanted to check like a real-time scenario, like you mentioned about blockchain security in the database security. Mm-hmm. So when you do it on a real-time basis, is it some kind of application that you have to install which enhances the security, or which actually acts or implements the blockchain security within the database? How exactly? I just wanted to understand the real-time scenario for that.
Yeah, mainly the database is distributed database. It's not centralized. Okay. So once you create a distributed database and you insert or you do any change in this database, definitely it will request a lot of permission from all the blockchain nodes to be participate or not to be participate, or accepted or not accepted. This is why it is not centralized. So once it is centralized, definitely you have some problem to secure it. You need to put a lot of defenses, a lot of protection for it, and create the capability to have like redundant for it, or to recover if being changed or being attacked. But in blockchain, it is like complete one, or let's say multiple blocks. If any blocks from this changed or being fraud or insert any wrong data, changing the old one, all the blocks in the networks need to approve it. If it is not approved, definitely it will be rejected. This is how the blockchain solve the problem of the compatibility or the integrity of the data to go inside the database.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. There's one question here, the doctor.
So thank you, Ramy, for the presentation. Since you are saying we are talking about decentralized database, and when you mentioned the security layers, one of them was the governance. Mm-hmm. Don't you think we are contradicting ourselves here? We are saying we need to have a governance on the blockchain, but at the end of the day, it is a decentralized, let's say, ecosystem. So how the law enforcement and how the governments can, or the regulatory entities can make sure that the security is being implemented in the right way in the blockchain ecosystem? Yeah,
definitely the blockchain, when it has come to the picture in the world, knowing how it's been created or being created by someone and being developed in the internet, but anything without regulations, without rules, definitely it will need some attention, and to be implemented inside the country or adapted by a country. Definitely, it needs some ways to be regulated. It's not a matter of the decentralized decision of the technology itself. Let's say, give it an example for the initial coin offering. Any company today can request people to invest in their system, and they can give them the awards or the tokens. But to make sure that it is not a scamming companies, or it is not their system is not manipulating the facts, and I'm part of this country, so the country need to protect their people within the country. Mentioning like, if you want to create the ICO company or offering for the people or the public people, you need to have such rules. And this such rules is part of the regulations, and the compliance need to be done as an example, in general example. And there is a lot of attentions and regulations can be intercept within the blockchain needs and adapting within the government, and especially for the private blockchain, not for the public. Public is already in the public. Anyone can participate with a DApp application and they can join it. So hopefully I answered part of the question. Thank you so much.
So we have a few seconds left for the last question.
Last question.
Last question.
Last question.
For last question.
Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last question. Last
Hi. So with regards to public blockchains, how do you see the future of proof of work versus proof of stake blockchains, specifically the issue that proof of work generates a massive amount of, or has a massive amount of waste, it uses a massive amount of electricity. Do you see any regulations in the future on that, or do you see any restrictions on that?
Yeah. What we saw in the last couple of scams happening over the internet for the public blockchain, that everyone can participate and they can offer the people to come and join and invest or doing these applications, and this maybe is not trusted application. Some regulation came to replace some format of the offering to be more secured. So this type of like initial coin offering, it will be secure token offering. So secure token increase the security and credibility of the offering for participating in the public blockchain and helping make the blockchain more, let's say, more creditable and more secure at the same for the people who is interacting, because you don't know if you put your system within this public and there is a transactions happening inside the network, who can manage it, who can protect it, or let's say who can regulate it, who can work on this one? No one knows. It is secured, it is immutable, no one can make it down, hack it or something, but still it needs some attention to participate. This is why we came on the version of private blockchain to make it more privately, and the private can work with multiple private or with public at the same time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramy.
So much for you.